Hello everyone. Just waiting on Bob to join us. I have to watch here. I'm gonna get some abuse in the comments. $20 viewers. Good ratings in prime time. Here he is.
You alright?
Oh, how's it going?
All good yourself?
Fine. Just getting set up here.
You know,
I think we're live to the nation.
the millions of viewers.
42 at the moment. It's more than I ever got at Oban FM. What's happening?
Not much. Just busy trying to build a wall and now with care, so staying busy. Yourself?
Can I ask you what job you were up to these days?
Aye, painter, decorator, builder, you name it. I've been doing it.
Aye, that's like all of us these days at the moment, just doing all sorts.
Aye, it's getting a bit monotonous.
I know. How's the family?
All good, wild as usual. Dan the man just causing a ruckus in the house from the get-go in the mornings. That's about it. What about yourself? How's the wife?
All good here. Just just moved house a couple of months ago, as you know. So I've been doing all sorts of jobs like yourself. But yeah, it's just been a weird few months. I suppose like it's the same for you, like because like last 2-3 years, you've been used to traveling quite a bit, and now you're.
Yeah.
I was thinking actually, like, is this the longest period you've went without playing an actual golf hole since, I don't know, you were crawling?
Probably is now. Why? That's. I mean, it was probably the longest. Nah, it's not the longest I've gone without touching a golf club. That's when I was injured. I had that, but this is by far the longest I've gone without touching a golf club since I was probably about 6 year old.
I don't know, it's weird because obviously my job, like traveling and stuff, it's like the year is you got like a routine. It's like you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Like last end of March, it was supposed to be Miami. April, Monte Carlo. Just now, it should be in Paris for the French Open. And it's like weird at these points of the year, like being at home.
Aye.
Takes a bit
I
of
know. I know. I was just traveling. I mean, I played so many events that it was getting to a point where you knew the courses that you enjoyed and you'd written them in the schedule, and now, I mean, you don't know where we're going right enough. The season's yet to get underway, but fully. So just about waiting and seeing where they go and what events we end up playing.
Did you watch Tiger and Phil last night?
I only watched a little bit near the end. It was actually all right.
It was good,
It was better chat than the other match.
Aye, much better. The weather was quite reminiscent of Oban.
It did look like Oban, didn't it? But no, it was. I mean, having JT in the commentating that's a lot better. Younger guy, bit better chat. Knows the golf course inside out rather than having a few of the older boys that, I mean, just try and hype the game up more than it was.
It's funny, like towards the end, because it got a bit close towards the end, and I stayed up for it. And at the start, Tiger was talking a lot more, and then towards the end, even though it was, I mean, what does it mean really? You know, in the grand scheme of things, like in the terms of the competition, but Tiger was getting quieter and quieter because you could hear him getting right into it.
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was a decent watch at the end. Phil was just dying to get that to go to the end, the playoff hole.
Yeah.
But
So we've got quite a few viewers now. So what we're going to do, just to explain to the sort of people joining us, is that I think we're just going to have a little chat for a while, just about general things really, and then maybe look back a bit in your career, first year in the European Tour last year and stuff, and then maybe in the last, I don't know, half hour, 20 minutes, take a few questions. So you got any questions, save them for maybe the last half hour, and hopefully there's not much abuse as we're chatting.
I can already see Bernd.
A few people picking up in the home haircuts.
Digging at me. There'll be a few of them. There'll be a few of the boys just lining up a few digs here.
I actually got one, Callie, my wife, she did this for me yesterday just in preparation for this. So,
I don't think it looks too bad. Mine was. I thought I was looking all right at all.
It's the best haircut I've ever had.
Cheapest one.
So, return to golf in Scotland on Friday. You know, what's it? It's funny because, like, if Dominic Cummins can get away with driving to Durham, surely you can claim your back gardens, Glencruiton.
I know it's one of them ones that, I mean, come Friday we'll be, I think in Scotland we'll be all good to go. Everything looks like it's easing up, so I think it's one of them ones you had to wait it out. I think we've done the right thing by waiting a wee bit longer. Now Friday comes, all the troops will be on the golf course.
So you got your tea time booked?
I have. I don't know what time it's at, but one of the boys done it.
You're gonna go out. Oh, okay. What I was wondering about Glencruiton these days. Because obviously it's a very sort of different course. Par 62, you know, different to a lot of your standard courses elsewhere. Yeah. Do you think that helped a lot with your game when you were younger? You know, just because you've got a game that's full of variation. You can do a lot of different things. Do you think that helped?
It does, aye. I mean, when you're on tour, you're hitting driver a lot. Don't get me wrong, you're hitting driver probably at least 10 times around, I'd say, on tour. But at Glencruiton, you might hit it, I don't know, twice around. And I think that's not a bad thing, because when you're going to events, you're just like, right, I want to get the driver in my hand. You've not used it enough to get negatives into the head. And obviously it's a reasonably tight golf course, so you've got to be accurate with it when you use it. And it's one of them ones that you don't. I mean, you hit a bad shot, you lose a golf ball. So on tour, there's more give around greens than we've got at Glencruiton, which is when I go and play on tour. I suppose it's probably an advantage I get.
What's your best round around Glencruiton?
In a competition, I think it's only 4 under.
Really? 58?
Yeah, but in bounce game, 9 under par. But that's when you're hitting driver up the 12th and stuff. You're not caring. You're just launching driver at some greens that you just wouldn't go at normally. But
like I got a 58 once in the 12th hole alone.
Honestly, you weren't that bad.
Hate it. I hate that second shot. Hate it. Always hated it.
It's not. I mean, that's obviously the back garden. So I've played them 4 holes over that road more than I've played the golf course.
So honestly, the amount of times I've went right there, just unbelievable. Like where like on the first tee, this is obviously for people who sort of know Glencruiton. Where could you hit it to?
Off the first normal yellow tees, I'd hit it. I mean, about 20 yards over the 20 yards over the ridge. Aye. And then off the back tees, you're lucky if you get it to the ridge.
So that'll be good to get back in the golf course and stuff. And then looking beyond that, like obviously the PGA Tour, that comes back in June the 11th, but for the European Tour, it's looking like the British Masters towards the end of July. I think the Telegraph did a story last week, I think, saying they're looking at sort of doing maybe 4 or 5 events in a row at places with hotels so the players can all stay in sight and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's a good way of coming back? You sort of looking forward to that?
It is. It's the only way they can do it if they're wanting to get us back really before the end of the year. I've got some decisions to make whether I go to, I mean, USPGA is just round the corner. I don't know what all the quarantine stuff is in the States when you fly over there, whether you've got a week, 2 weeks. So I've got to weigh that kind of stuff up, because obviously I'm going to have to play an event before I go over there. So it's got to, if I've got to go over there 2 weeks before it, just to sit in a house or sit in a hotel room, I don't know if it's the right thing for me to do at this stage. So, but the British Masters, I think, if that's the first one, then it's perfect. I mean, just jump in the car and drive there. So, safer than jumping on a plane at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose, because I mean, it's still 2 months to go, so quarantine might not be in place then. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I guess that could affect it, like, because then when you come back, you might have to quarantine again over here when you come back to UK.
Yeah, exactly. So that could take 3-4 weeks out of events that you could play in Britain. So it's one of them ones that I'm although it's a major, you've got to weigh up what's the right move for you.
US Open September. Actually, I think it's in New York this year, isn't it? The US Open.
Yeah.
So it's actually the week after the tennis. So, but to be honest, I'm not sure journalists will be let in. So I'm not sure I'll be over there. But
going to say a 2 week trip for you.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be good timing. But do you think you'll get into that? I don't know what the state play with exemptions is for that now.
I'm not sure. That's obviously since they've scrapped the qualifier, which I was going to have to take. But now that they've scrapped that, I think they're going to open it up more to, I don't know, the only way to do it's world ranking, I suppose. Whether they throw it down that or down, I don't know, they could even throw it down the PGA Tour list, which would throw the Europeans off. But the fairest way would be world ranking, and obviously where I'm sitting just now, that would probably secure me a spot.
And the Masters, it's funny because you're pushing so much for the Masters, and then, you know, obviously the coronavirus crisis really sort of hit the peak in March, and that was it all of a sudden. And I think they're going to stick with the original exemptions, aren't they?
Yeah, for this year. For the one this year. And then obviously April comes round pretty quick again once that's over. So that's the next top 50 slot you've got to get into.
What did that feel like, that sort of just getting told? It seems that you were in Qatar at the time, and it really started to sort of kick off then. The tournament in Kenya was postponed. It's amazing how things quickly changed. I remember, I think it was on the Friday it was postponed, and I'm like, oh, that's a bummer for you, because obviously you're pushing for points and stuff, and it's amazing how, you know, now you can't argue with that decision at all. But it must have happened so quickly that weekend.
I remember sitting with Keith Pelly on Thursday afternoon after my round. There was a group of players round. My manager was there, and we're sitting talking to him, and he's like, yeah, Kenya's going ahead. And then on the Friday, we're on about the 7th hole, and a group, so there's 7th, or was it the 8th tee and the 6th tee are side by side, and one of the caddies goes, do you hear Kenya's been cancelled? And we're all looking around going, just got told last night that it was going ahead 100%. So it was obviously everything moves so fast with this kind of virus, so I think they've done the right thing.
Definitely. And you look at it now, because I remember then as well, I think, oh, well, the next event's not until the end of April. That's quite a long time, but yeah, totally right in the end. Because, you know, I know some other sports stalled for a while, but so looking back, we'll take it back a bit now, and just obviously a lot of shinty history in the family. So the people watching, I'm sure a lot of people read about you. Bernd Wiesberger there.
Aye, Bernd.
Obviously a lot of shinty history in the family. There's been lots of stories on it and stuff, but I just wondered, just to give sort of people an idea of how much you sort of played when you're younger, and did you reach a point where you had to sort of step away from it? And Did that feel tough at the time?
When I was about 16, 17, I see he's certainly ripping into me the day, isn't he? When I was 16, 17 was when I gave up playing. I think 17-year-old was my last game. And it was one of them ones I done well. When I broke my arm, I came back, won the youths and the boys in the same year. And I realised that I could have a go at this. And I also played the Dunhill that year, which opened my eyes to players and the standard that I was needing to get to, and I felt like I was almost there. So that's when I gave up shinty and went all in the golf, and it's paid off obviously, but it wasn't an easy move. You play in a sport that you love all your life. You played before you played golf, and it's been up through the generations. But I mean, it was something I had to do at the time, and I'm glad I done it.
Right, someone is asking there, what is shinty? So I always say to people down here, it's like a wild version of hockey.
Yeah, that's exactly how I put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you still train and stuff now and again now, but obviously, I guess there's been nothing on the past few months.
No, there's been nothing. I mean, I play the odd game when I'm at home. Sure everyone knows that by now. It's just one of them things. I had to do it just because I wasn't enjoying golf in the mid part of the season last year. Came home from Morocco. I was meant to be going to China on the Sunday night. Flew home, said I'm not going to China. Flew home, and it was one of them ones. I sat with my mum and dad, my manager, and that down and said I need to do something else. Whether it was, I mean, the last resort was to not play golf again, as competitive as I was, but my mum wasn't happy when I said I'm going back to play shinty. My dad was smiling. There was another body in the squad. So I done that, and then the next week, missed China. The next week was British Masters, and everything just snowballed.
Do you think you'll ever, like, obviously, like, Oban's a big sort of, it's your home basically, and you love going back and stuff. Do you think you'll ever move for any professional sporting reasons, or do you think you can do it being based in Oban?
No, you can do it no problem being based in Oban.
Yeah.
Actually, just try to find somewhere just now, and it's fun. I don't mind the travel. You're brought up with it. It's only 2 hours, an hour and 45 to Glasgow Airport. When you're on a travel day anyway, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take you. For me, it's about enjoying when I'm at home, enjoying myself and feeling comfortable, and that's why I come home every time. I couldn't stay in a big city. Just too busy for me.
Yeah, because a lot of like the golfers come back here. Like, 'cause I know coming back from abroad, you land back at Heathrow and you get in a car or get in the tube, and it's really busy, and it's taking you an hour and a half to get home anyway. So,
yeah.
And Glasgow Airport or Edinburgh, it's easy to get to Edinburgh for you as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not bad. 2.5 to the airport in Edinburgh. So it's for me, I'll probably stay here the rest of my life, if I'm being honest with you. Just get a bit of land or something like that, and I can build something on it, and just build what you want, really. And then it's a good place to be brought up, I suppose.
Yeah.
And every time you come back, I mean, you get treated the same no matter what you've done.
That's why I just love going back. Like, obviously, I just can't live there just because my work, so a lot of tennis stuff is based down here. But I love going back. It's real. It's good dose of normality all the time. Going back and bumping into people and stuff. It's a great place to grow up. So, next question I'd written down was, who's the best caddy you've ever had? No.
I don't know. There's a toss-up, I think. I think Davy Burns has got a shout in there. One-hit wonder. I can't give you it, Stuart, I'm afraid.
Well, the Australian Amateur was the semi-final there. I mean, you had a good caddy there.
I did. He was all right. He was checking up on all the rules that day, I'm sure. There was some carnage going on in the first tee. But nah, I mean, Greg's obviously the man for the job. He had a few wobbles that I'm sure most people know about.
Yeah.
But no, it's the reason that me and him work together is because it's the two of us are chilled out. I mean, when I'm on a golf course, although I'm playing golf, there's not much golf chat going on until we're standing over the ball, ready to go. It's all just chatting rubbish to each other. So it's just that's the reason he's good at chatting crap, and I'm good at chatting crap. So the two of us got on great.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap that's talked for sure. The Australian Amateur was an interesting one because I was thinking back to that just last night, and because in that semi-final, you face Minwoo Lee, who's now on the tour as well.
Yeah.
And one of the big memories I have of that is the distance he was hitting for someone so thin. Yeah. I think he turned round to me at one point and said, I can't reach that. He said something like that. And you hit it quite far now, but it's quite amazing, really, looking at it now that he's come up as well.
He'll be the longest on tour. I think by a decent way on the European tour. I can't think of anyone that's going to even get close to him, if I'm being honest. It's ridiculous how far he hits it. But no, that was some experience, that.
Yeah, because we had a crowd in the Saturday afternoon following us. We had not a massive crowd, but like for you at that time, like 50, 60 people. And it was a great thing as well that people, it's like the old Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, people walking up the fairway behind you.
I know. It was the same in Australia when we played the 13th Beach event. It was the exact same. They were coming, you were walking through the crowds to get to your ball and stuff, which was, right. I mean, I enjoy it more. There's more buzz around it.
Then that year you get picked for the Walker Cup later in the year. So it's a funny one because that wasn't a very good Walker Cup at all. With the USA winning 19-7. But for you, I mean, you sat out the morning foursomes, and then you come out in the afternoon and you beat Cameron Champ, who at that time has been topped up, and obviously he's went on to do good things as well. Yeah. Beat him 6-4. But what did that feel like, just to be in that environment, match play environment, playing in something like that?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, when I got left out, I was disappointed because I felt like I wasn't playing great in the practice rounds, but I never do. So it was like, right, he's picked the team because I'm not playing great in the practice rounds, and that's fine. Missed the morning. I didn't go up there until everyone was halfway through their front nine. Went up there and got the breakfast and that. And obviously I was watching it on the TV, and Cameron Champ was hitting it absolutely miles. And I'm like, geez, how am I going to even compete with this? Out there, that golf course was the longest golf course I've ever played. So when I knew it was against him, it was like, right, let's try and keep this respectable. But I went out there, and the way the fairways were cut, we were able to keep up with them if you caught the right stripe. And off the first I caught the right stripe, down grain cut, and he was about 10 yards in front of me, and I just kind of laughed. It doesn't hit it that far. Stepped onto the third hole, which is about, 320 yard par 4 up the hill, and I've launched one. And then he's gone out one, and I've got up there, and he's about 100 yards in front of me. I mean, absolutely, it was steep. It was a steep uphill hole, and it is miles up. But I mean, I managed to take that scalp.
That was a good one. And then you had a draw the next day as well, didn't you?
Aye, with him again. Yeah.
Did that give you a sort of taste for what it might be like playing in a Ryder Cup?
It did. It did and it didn't. I mean, there wasn't as much buzz around that. I mean, I think a Ryder Cup would be the best thing you could ever do as a golfer, whereas for me as a sportsman, what sports I play. But it was a decent buzz. I mean, everyone was there together. They were enjoying it. But I think a Ryder Cup, there'd be more kind of go about it. rather than we were doing a lot of things that kind of seeing LA more than we were playing and seeing the course. We could have probably done more of, but it was an experience. I mean, I done things that week that I'll probably never do again in my life.
I mean, before all this happened, you were actually in contention. I know, like, I think one of the golf status on Twitter was putting up a table when you were, you were not in the qualification slots, but you were in the mix. And now we're not really sure what's going to happen with the Ryder Cup. I guess, like, the first one you want to qualify for, I guess you want to have fans there.
Exactly, but I mean, there's a lot of guys going against it just now. About them playing it with no fans. It's, for me, watching it on TV. I've only watched it on TV, never been there to experience it, but it looks like it's the fans that make it. It gets hyped up. First tee, I mean, the roars nowadays, I mean, it's like a stadium. So I think that's the way a lot of guys are wanting it to happen. They're wanting it postponed with everything that's going on. So if that happens, then we're in with a good shout.
And then, like, turn pro, your first round, pardon me, but was it a bit of a disaster? 78.
It was a nightmare, but I was nervous, so like really nervous. So it could only get better from there, and it did, thankfully.
Because then you, like, the win in Kuwait, get your Challenge Tour card, and, like, then that's really different, getting used to tour life, and a few missed cuts at the start, but seems that you eventually sort of got used to it.
Yeah, I just had to find what was right for me. While I was playing, I always wanted to do it right. I said that from the get-go. You only get one shot at it, I feel, for where I come from and the backing I had. You only had one chance, and you had about 4 years to kind of give it a go. So I said that I was going to have a caddy. I was going to do everything the way that you would do it if you were on tour. And I feel like that was a huge help. I mean, I missed, obviously, I think it was the first 4 cuts. I was getting down on myself, but I wasn't. I was playing unbelievable. I just couldn't hold a putt. And I mean, poor guy that was on my bag, Stuart, I'm sure he could see it coming. And then obviously Greg came onto the bag, and I found something in my putting, and we just took off. And I've just obviously take notes of what I've done well that week, and I've changed my putting, and I feel like it's been huge for me, just keeping little notes of what I've done over the time, and yeah, just keep on rolling it in.
It was funny, what the weekend you were in China, I was actually up in Oban for a few days, and on the Friday I played a round at Glencruiton with Skinny and Brian, and yeah, we're walking around and we checked your score and stuff, and we were saying that day, he's had a good few months, so it'd be good to get another year in the Challenge Tour and really sort of solidify yourself and hopefully get a card the next year. But seems like that weekend, it was, and especially that putt in particular on the Sunday, was a career-changing moment for you.
It was. I mean, it was. I think I was standing on the 18th hole on the Friday, and I was needing a birdie. I mean, the water was all down the right, par 5. I've hit a great tee shot, but we're right between going for the green or laying up. And the way I play golf is just send it for the pin. So Greg agreed, and we went for it. Hit it to about 12 feet, rolled it in, and then from there I didn't miss a shot for the whole weekend. It was one of them ones that no matter what shot you took on, it was on the money, and I think that's a good thing of the way I play. Greg plays a big part in that, and when I'm playing well, he's there. He just rides along beside you, just holding the reins and just lets you go. But if something's going wrong, then he'll pull me back and tell me, right, we're being too gung ho here. And he just settles you in. But when you're on, you just got to go.
Yeah. And then last year, like, phenomenal year, Rookie of the Year. That was a good finish the last few weeks, trying to secure that and stuff. But seems like the standout moment was the Open at Royal Portrush. First major, tied sixth. I mean, that last day. I mean, the start of the day. Are you thinking you've got a chance of that?
I knew the weather was coming in. Everyone, I mean, they were worried they were not going to get it finished, but I didn't think I could win it. No, I couldn't win it, but I knew I could. If I could go and throw a good round in, then I wouldn't be too far behind the leaders. The more that I look at it now, could I have won it? Yes, I could have. I just didn't putt from inside, kind of 10 feet. I putted poor all week. I rolled it great from long range, hit it great all week. Just didn't hold the short ones when I needed to hold the short ones. But overall, I mean, you could have, if I'd putted probably like Shane from inside 10 feet, then would have been in there with a chance, I'm sure.
It's funny that day because, we all knew the weather forecast, and you get in the clubhouse and, you're, maybe about 12th, 14th at that point?
Yeah.
And then it was slowly, the rain starts coming down, wind gets up, and I was sitting in the media centre, and it's like watching your name move up slowly.
Yeah.
And we knew that sort of top 10 would get you in the Open the following year, which will be next year, I guess now.
Yeah.
That still stands, doesn't it, the exemption for next year?
Aye, that one does. That one does. I remember standing, so I missed a good chance on, I think it was 14. A good chance on 13, then a good chance on 15 for birdie. And I can see the storm, I can see it coming in, the weather coming in. I'm like, Greg, we need a birdie. Because 18's a monster. And obviously a good 2-putt in 17 when it is pouring it down. I mean, it is, I'm soaked. I had to step away from it, get back under the brolly. It was coming down that hard. And walking off 17, I said to Greg, well, I've seen the leaderboard obviously on the 17th, and I said to him, well, birdie gets us back next year. And I hit a good tee shot, good second shot, and it's just one of them ones that the two of us are reading it, and I've said, right, Greg, I've got this, and he just says, you know what to do. And it's just, obviously I try to hold every putt, but there's ones that mean a lot more than just a birdie. That one, I mean, just not just for me, but for everyone that was there that week, and everyone that supports me, to get another shot at something that you dream of playing in.
Yeah, because it was a really emotional end for like your family. Davy Burns was even he was crying at the end and stuff. I remember that it was quite a moment. And then obviously you move up. It's funny because I remember messaging you to say, "Oh, I see that top 4 gets in the Masters next year," and it was looking. I mean, you were only one shot off that as well.
Yeah.
I remember texting that, and you're like, "Oh, bastard!" It's like how quickly it changed. Like the expectations change suddenly. But
I know when we were sitting. I remember sitting in the players' lounge at the end, and you're obviously watching it climb and climb and climb, and I think it actually got into the position at one point. And then I think, was it Kopka birdied 17, which threw it. But you're looking at it and you're always going, oh, disappointed we didn't get that spot. But then you sit back and look at it and you go, right, you were absolutely miles off that spot going into the last round. So just what you've got's a steal.
Which you weren't far away from a win last year. We were actually debating this the other night during a Zoom quiz we had, a few of us. Which tournament last year did you feel like that was the one that maybe got away?
I'd say I don't know. It's either Germany or
Denmark. Maybe?
Denmark. Bernd might not be here anymore, thankfully. But Denmark. I think I had a great chance in Denmark, but Bernd, I think it was the 14th hole where you walked through the beer tent.
Well, that was good, though.
On the 14th drivable hole, I hit it onto the green. Bernd hit one that was rattling about the stands. then he gets up and down from, I mean, how he got him down from there, I don't know. So I've obviously made the birdie, but 17 I've carved out of bounds. I would have hit the same shot again, driver all day.
Really?
And then, but Greg done well there to keep, I mean, I was losing the plot because I knew what I'd done. I just thrown it. He kept me kind of reasonably calm. He made me hold, well, he got me to holding it the next putt for the bogey, which kept me 2 shots back because we knew, I mean, that 18th tee shot, there was only one place Bernd was hitting it. That was straight in that water because of the way the wind was. Everything, it suited me down to a tee, that the last 2 holes, and I hit the shot down 18 that I was wanting to hit down 17, which, I mean, it's one of them ones that you just hit one bad shot in 4 days. And it was the time that you didn't need it. So I'd say that one. I mean, Germany for me was, although I was leading it by about 4 shots, 3-4 shots going into the last 18, last 36, I had a poor day on the Saturday and I was still tied for the lead going into Sunday. So although I had a bad day, I was still in the position that I wanted to be in. And then obviously Casey just holed 2 great putts on 16 and 17, which kind of stole it from me.
No, he played well at the end of that was for sure. And the Scottish Open last year, first couple of days playing with Rory McIlroy and Ricky Fowler. How many times did you have to visit the toilet before going out that first morning?
A few. Nah, that was another one that, I mean, I could hardly sleep. I got the heads up on the way over from Ireland. I got the heads up. Are you wanting that? They'd done it great. I mean, European Tour done a great job there by asking me if I wanted to draw because they wanted to put me into the position. And I'm going, I had to wait up. I had to phone a few folk and decided that, you know what, if there's ever a time to do it, it's the Scottish Open. There's not going to be one person there that's not behind you playing with these two. So we done it, and what an experience it was. I mean, I thought it would be more nerve-wracking than it was going into it. But once we got off the first tee, I mean, they'd been in the position I was, you know what I mean? So they knew how I was feeling. Teeing the ball up in the first tee, I could hardly get the ball to stay in the tee. So they knew they knew the kind of state I was in.
But they were quite good, weren't they? They were good with you going round and stuff.
They were brilliant. I was expecting a little bit more serious, kind of not as much chat, but Rory and Harry were brilliant with me. They kind of almost guided me for the first 4 holes, just try to keep me calm, and then they just let me go. That was it. But both of them, even Ricky, I mean, just so chilled out while playing on that level.
And I think you have McIlroy, you know, and he now knows where Oban is. He was looking up on the map, wasn't he?
He was. I think, well, Ricky had to look up what shinty was after the 14 club challenge when he was hitting the shinty stick with a golf ball. So,
yeah. Favourite player to play with?
How Tong Lee's up there.
He's a good laugh, isn't he?
Aye, How Tong. I quite like playing with Alex Norton. Just a chilled out, nice guy.
And I guess you'd like to sort of tick off Phil or Tiger at some point. I
would, but it's getting less and less likely as the year goes on.
Yeah.
Obviously, Phil's the guy that I've looked up to every time since I've grown up. Really, it's been Phil Mickelson's kind of obviously been a left-hander. That's the main reason, but the way he plays golf as well is the way I try and play golf.
Right, we're going to take some questions. So what I need to do now is like flick back through the comments and then find some. But if anyone else has got any more questions, just put them in the comments now. And we've got about 20 minutes left. Instagram cuts off after an hour, so you only get an hour to do all this. But let's find a question. We've actually done all right. We reached triple figures. Not bad. Wiesberger was saying earlier, nice haircut, Bobby. A lot of people's talking about the comments, about the haircuts.
I think it's all right for the first one.
Yeah. I'm just going through them all. While I sort of find one, just talk about like the break. I mean, it's actually, I suppose it's been positive for you in a way. Obviously, it's terrible with the things that are going on at the moment, but actually having a break for you in terms of your hand and stuff, it's actually come along at a decent time, I suppose, that way.
No, it has. I've had to. I mean, even still, I still feel it a little bit. Since when you bruise a bone, it's never going to it'll never be the same as it was before it happened. So I just have to. Just now, I've not really done much golf in the last since Qatar. I've only probably hit 200 balls in that 9-10 weeks. So I've given it every chance to fully heal. So it's just about just resting that until Friday, and then just ease myself into
it. So here's one here from Colin Fleming, who former British Davis Cup tennis player, actually won the tournament in Oban a couple of times, which was definitely his greatest achievement. Has Bob ever played tennis at the Atlantis Leisure? Have you ever played tennis there, Bob?
Aye, plenty of times. Used to go there every, I think it was Wednesday after school, for a tennis club. A few of the boys went. And no, still, even when I was in college in the US, instead of doing chemistry and biology and all that, I used to take the easy classes, and learning some new tennis skills when I was in college in the States was up there with the best of them.
I think Callum Fox is asking, Ryder Cup or Camner Cup?
For me, it'll be Ryder Cup. I'm a golfer amateur.
But like, I suppose you could give Shinty like really go for it when you're like 50 or something.
That's if I'm still alive. I don't know. Golf's one of them sports that it can go from you as quick as you kind of got it. So who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully, I'm still playing golf when I'm 50.
I've got to also make an apology here to Kenny Wotherspoon. One of the rounds that Glenn Cruton mentioned, I actually used his clubs and I lost most of his balls. So apologies to him for that. He's reminded me of that in the comments. What else we got? It's going down. Have you ever fitted a curtain pole?
That's a Craig Maitland one, isn't it? Aye, look at him.
What would you rather, hash browns for hands or chicken dippers for feet? This was serious until now. Right, here's one. Here's one. Willie Gemmell's asking, what's your number one goal? Guess Ryder Cup, maybe, is it?
Is that over my career? Or is that?
That's true. Maybe like, yeah. Let's say when you finish your career, what would you like to say you've done?
Played a Ryder Cup. If you do that, that's for me the pinnacle of the amateur game is the Walker Cup, and then when you become a professional, the top of the trees. If you're not world number one, you're played a Ryder Cup, and you can't do much more than that.
Ali McLean, I think, is asking, who's the best player you played with in the amateur game, apart from him?
Wee Yippee himself. Best player in the amateur game? Either Victor Hovland or Christopher Ventura, the two Norwegians.
All right.
They're both in the PGA Tour now. They were two standouts.
Favourite dinner?
Favourite dinner? Steak and chips.
Sounds good. Actually, someone asked on Twitter, May Sinclair, apart from your home course, what's your favourite course in A, Scotland, and B, the European Tour?
Scotland, it's Loch Lomond, just for the setting of it all. It's unbelievable. On the European Tour, geez, Switzerland, Cron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play great last year at it, but I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that looked great in the telly, actually.
Yeah.
Cracker. If you could pick an event to win in the European Tour, what would it be? So we'll go outside the majors, like just standard European Tour events.
Scottish Open, by far. Yeah, that's for a Scotsman. Well, no matter what nationality you are, you're wanting to win your home tournament.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Win the gold medal at the Olympics or win the Ryder Cup as a captain?
That is a good question.
Tell you what, it's tough to get in the Olympics, especially like because
as a Brit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd probably go for winning the Ryder Cup as a captain.
Yeah, because that'd be like the culmination of a long project, I guess.
Yeah, that means you've probably, if you've not won a major, you've been unbelievable in Ryder Cups over your career.
That's true, yeah. Let's go. Who's your Scottish football team?
But Scottish football doesn't really put me up or down. Oban Saints for Gemmell.
If golf was to return without fans, would you be for or against it?
If golf was to return without fans?
Yeah, so say European Tour comes back with fans. I mean, I guess that's fair enough, isn't it? If that's the restriction.
I'll need to pack a few extra dozen balls. I'll be losing a few golf balls without the fans there. But nah, it's the way it's got to be. It's the only way that we can get back playing is without fans.
Name your favourite 3 pubs in Oban. I think that's Keith Miller there.
Favourite 3 pubs? Marky Dan's, Ollie's, and Coasters when it's running.
First win, where would you like it to be?
Anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. It doesn't bother me where that is. That'll come at some point, I'm sure, if I keep playing decent golf.
What do you think golf will be like when it comes back initially? It'll be funny because some people might be rusty and stuff. Do you think there could be, some interesting scores maybe initially?
I mean, I'm going to be rusty when I get back playing, but everyone's going to be the same unless they're playing mini tour events.
Favourite hole at Glencrutton, Aidan MacIntyre?
15th.
So remind anyone who's maybe not sure what that one is.
Short par 3, about 100 and, don't know, it's probably about 120 yards, 130 yards. But it's a nasty wee hole. If you get it wrong, you're looking at it going, I should be making birdie here, but you hit a bad one, you're walking off with bogey and double, and you're like, what have I done?
I always just play it left to be safe.
I try and bounce it down.
Don't care how far left I am, as long as I'm right. I actually got a birdie there last year. I was quite pleased with. But anyway, it's not about me.
Getting better.
What else? Going through it. Dream 4-ball. Asked my brother.
Dream 4-ball. Phil Mickelson. Rory'd be in there. And then Tiger. It's got to be them three, and then myself in there.
That'd be cracker. The match 3.
I need to do something special when golf returns.
Have you ever tried playing right-handed?
Never,
Bond.
for a bit of fun, not trying to see if I'm better right-handed than I was left-handed when I was younger. Just for fun. Still do it now and again. I remember playing the grand final of the Challenge Tour. And the practice round was taking forever, and me and you and Ferguson changed clubs for the last 5 holes.
You ever played Augusta? Well, no, I guess. But I mean, what's it going to be like? Hopefully, when you play there for the first time. I mean, I think a lot of the people who actually go there say it's so different in terms of the undulations and stuff, like to seeing it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to quite a few folk about it. They say it's just the initial wow factor that gets you. If it's going to get you, it's going to be right at the start, and we're trying to go over that. But I think the course is, I mean, people think it's just a flattish golf course where the greens are wild, but it's the complete opposite. I think the drops off of some of the tees are enormous. I think is it the 10th down and round the corner is a severe drop.
Here's an interesting one. It's a good question, actually. Should more shinty players have a crack at amateur golf? I've watched some of the Oban lads tee off the first at Glencrutton, huge distance hitters. And I remember when I was younger, because I lived in, obviously I remember it from Oban as well, yeah, I totally agree with that. But I lived in Dalmally until I was like 10, and then like a lot of the guys who played for Glenorchy were actually quite good at golf at the local course as well. So,
yeah, what
do you think?
I do. I think it's getting the time. It's getting the time to do it when you're playing shinty. But no, there's a lot of good golfers that have played shinty. It's almost the same. It's the same kind of swing. So if you can refine it a little, if you can refine the swing a little bit, then I don't see why not. I mean, some of them. I mean, Scott McMillan hits it absolute miles.
Really?
When he hits it.
How old were you when you had your first hole in one?
First hole in one would have been when I was about 12 or 13. On the 15th, remember it well. Me and my old man and Ali and Sean. It was a wee doubles match, and that was our last hole, and it went.
That's a cracking hole to get it on.
Yeah.
Ask Bob how he's adapting to his new career laying concrete.
I'm getting good at it. Getting really good at it. Getting sore, but.
Let's see. Someone mentioned Ronald Ross there, actually. Ronald Ross was a really good tennis player when he was younger.
Ronald Ross hit a tee shot in Aviemore. This came from, because the management company I'm with ran the event up in Aviemore. He stepped onto the first tee at Aviemore, and I mean, I couldn't reach the green. I'd run it onto the green. And Ronald Ross stepped up onto the first tee and pitched it right in the middle of the green.
Really?
Aye. But I mean, it could go anywhere, I think, with him, but he can hit it a long, long way, again, from the shinty.
Lisa asks, dream 4-ball, but Oban players past and present.
Jeez. Dream 4-ball?
Because you could upset a few people here.
I don't know, that's my old man, for one.
Yeah.
Don't know. My old man. I couldn't even tell you this one. I wouldn't. Never thought about that.
Dream 2-ball then, that'll do. You and your old man.
You and the old man. He still beats me.
What's the best course you played in the States?
Best course in the States at TPC Sawgrass. Not TPC Sawgrass, but the course, the second course in there. It was unbelievable. It's where they've played web.com finals there. I think it's called the Dye course.
Oh,
Pete Dye designed them.
Do you still watch last couple? Because we've got like 5 minutes left. Actually, 4 minutes now. Do you still watch shinty finals like on TV and stuff?
Yep, Stuart knows that. Well, I watch them. I mean, I remember being in Florida when I watched one of them. I watch them every year, no matter where I am, just for the sheer enjoyment of watching shinty. I mean, I love it. So it's something that you've got to kind of keep watching.
Yeah, because I remember, like, was it last year outside Wentworth we were trying the phone, remember?
Try to get it up and running.
And then someone's saying that I'm in hiding from, Mark Gowdy is saying I'm in hiding from an egg nomination. Having watched some of the videos of these, I'll happily do the nomination rather than, well, certainly not doing it live. Right, last couple of questions if you want to send them in quickly. 3 minutes. Best memory as a junior playing the west coast of Scotland?
Best memory? Don't really play events in the west coast. It might be the home internationals, boys' home internationals at down at Gales, Western Gales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, actually. Aye. So what have you got? What you got planned tonight? Session in the Peloton?
No. Day off that. So it's just go and chill out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting see what happens the next couple of months and stuff. But yeah, if we get some golf back in
I think Friday we'll be back playing golf, and then I think it'll be probably middle of July before we start playing competitive golf again.
Yeah. Right, someone's asking for a final plug for Glencruiton. We will actually finish. That's what we'll good note to finish on. Glencruiton open again on Friday, and I think that they're asking for people to pay up their membership, like book tea times and stuff. And yeah, I mean, Bob, from your perspective, like it's going to be a good few days for the club. I think
it's been brilliant. I think there's been a lot of new members and a lot of guys. They do a deal now. They do a deal now through the shinty clubs to realise that guys that are playing shinty and football, with the fees that they're paying for the amateur stuff, they can't afford to. Most guys can't afford to play golf as well, so they cut a deal and made it affordable, reasonably affordable for them guys. And I think there has been a huge group of them have joined, which is great for the club.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed it. It's good to have a few. We had about triple figures during that, so it was quite good. So, thanks for doing that, Bob.
No bother at all. We'll speak to you later on.
Speak to you soon, and all the best for getting back in the course on Friday.
Aye, we'll see how that goes.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, bye.